So the challenge I set for this video was making a render with the Blender Suzanne monkey head. So if you want to see, I actually failed like 5 attempts before this video, but if you want to see how I put this one together here, which I'm actually quite happy with this, how it turned out in this one. Yeah, we'll just get right into it. Okay, let's try and make this work. So I'm going to start by adding the mesh in here, the monkey mesh. So we'll add the monkey. Now, I actually attempted this once before, actually multiple times before this. It was very tricky, but I'm going to try it again. I think we can make it work this time. Basically, the idea I have is to make this work in a render. Like the first idea that comes to mind is trying to put this as like a big stone statue in some kind of like ancient temple or ancient sanctuary kind of thing. As to how that's exactly going to work, I'm not super sure, but that's what you're going to watch me do here, is figure this out. So this is going to be a good exercise in taking something that I really don't care about or don't like and don't want to work with, you know, this, and making this, you know, attempting to make this work and look cool inside of a render. So that's kind of an important skill, especially when you're doing client work sometimes. Sometimes, you know, client work can be great, but then sometimes you just get jobs where it's like, God, this is like so stupid, but at least I'm getting money. But yeah, this is going to be basically me just making a render with this stupid object and attempting to make it look cool. Okay, so anyways, let's add this in here. I want the origin point to be at the bottom, so I'm going to apply the rotation and scale, and then just turn on effect only origins, and then just drop that down here. And then that way, when I scale it around, I can scale it like from the bottom there. Okay, we need a floor. And the kind of random idea that I just had that might help make this look cool is having like some cool circular archway or some kind of cool stone thing circling around this. It's hard to explain exactly what I mean, but let me just show you. In the last video, I made these like weird platforms. It's right here. I'll just open up this file. So this was the last video on my channel, like the previous video. In that one, I made all these weird square platform things, which are basically just, it's like a cube that you just extrude in kind of a bunch of different directions, and then you just kind of duplicate these chunks a bunch of times. Grab a few of these, right click, and then just copy objects. Yeah, right click, copy. I can actually close out of here, don't save. And then just paste them, Control V to paste into here. Yeah, I think there's only 2 of them, so I'll just take these 2. And I'm gonna try and use this to make a circular archway thing, or gateway. And I think I might want it to be facing this way. And then maybe, let's just bring this out here. So I think I want it to be a little bit less than 1, so like there, and then increase the count to, we'll do, I don't know, 16. Maybe let's do 32 actually. And then I'm gonna use a simple deform modifier, and this, if I just apply the rotation, switch it to Z, and then bend. Yeah, now I can actually bend this all the way around over itself like this. Let me also turn on screencast keys so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Now you can see it. Okay, so we have this thing. Let's put it inside of a circle. So we'll just add a cylinder in here. For the cylinder, let's do 64. Whoops, 64. And then rotate it this way. Scale this up. This is a tough render, by the way. Making this stupid monkey fit into a render. This is not easy. So anyways, just bear with me as I try and make this work. Okay, so let's take this, delete these faces. We'll just solidify this, right? Just increase this to right there. We'll just apply that, and then we can take this and kind of move it around as we need to. And then we'll take this here, inset this, extrude it in maybe, and maybe do another. Maybe that will be fine for now. Let's add a bevel modifier, and then just decrease that to like just a small amount. Okay, so we're gonna take this. Let's put this inside this thing. So we'll just have it here. I could honestly, let's do this. Let's duplicate it with just Shift D, and then I'm gonna take this one and then just convert to mesh. So right click, convert to mesh. That just applies all the modifiers. And then we can apply scale. Right click, set origin to geometry. And now I can just copy the location, Control C, location. If you don't see the copy location menu when you press Control C, it's just an add-on you turn on. It comes with Blender. You just go to Edit Preferences, search for Copy Attributes, and then it's it's a default add-on. It just might not be turned on by default, but it's in there. Okay, so this will go here. Right, and let's try to make this work. Okay, so we got that. I'm also going to be using Quixel Megascans, like Quixel Bridge, to help me through this one. This is going to be very crucial to me succeeding at this render, but anyways. Oh, hang on. I got to restart Blender. By the way, if you're like me and your Quixel Bridge has not been working for the last like 2 years properly, if you just Google this Reddit thread right here, just some problems of Quixel Bridge in Blender, find this thread. The top comment actually has the solution where they post an add-on that you can download that fixes the problem. So just do what it says here, like delete whatever file it says delete, and then install this add-on. Now when I export from Quixel Bridge, it actually has all the right textures plugged into the right spot. For a long time, I didn't do that, and that comment right there fixed it for me, so that's really helpful. Okay, so yeah, let's drop in these things. Let me just export this. I just need to start with some grassy or like mossy rocks. That might give me a starting point. And yeah, let's drop these in here. Now we have no real lights in here, so let's just take the background out. Let's start with a spotlight, and we'll just get this in here. Let's maybe go a little bit higher on the radius, blend up, and then power to something big. I'm going to take off the glare node compositing here. Now this is too much, so we'll just take his thing out there. And let's maybe have this coming from the side slightly. And this guy, I want him to be facing the light a little bit at least. I think we also need a texture on here, so something like this, maybe. Yeah, we'll try this. Let's download this and let's try it. We'll just export that. So we'll go to Object, and we'll just drop this stone wall in here. Oh, that is the wrong one, but that looks cool. Which one was it? This one? Yeah, this one. Okay. Displacement, I'm going to take that out. Or maybe it would be cool with it on. But if I just have adaptive subdivision, would that work? Yeah, it might work, actually. Might add some nice depth into here. We'll just decrease the scale a little bit so it's not so extreme. Maybe take the mid-level up a little bit as well. And I actually don't mind that. Maybe I'll leave this on 2 so it's a little bit less subdivided. I don't need it to be crazy. Even 4. I don't need it to be that extreme. Okay, so we got a little bit of something somewhat interesting on here. Let's just grab on the roughness. I'm going to take a color ramp. And we'll just drop this in here. Let's just make it a little less, or a little bit more rough rather. And let's take a hue saturation. Let's maybe drop the saturation a little bit, and also the brightness a little bit. Not that much, but just a little bit. Okay. And then on this stone thing here, let's shade auto smooth, and let's put this material on here as well. Link material. I'm gonna make this one a unique material by clicking this this number right here, the button here, and then I'm gonna take out the displacement. I do not want displacement on this one. To unwrap this, we'll just hit U and then reset, and then I'll just click one of the faces here, and then U, and then follow active quads. That's going to be good there, and then we can kind of just scale this into proportion. And now this texture should be following the curvature of this object here, so that's good. Okay, so we got something, right? We're heading in the right direction, even though it's complete trash still. We're heading in the right direction. All right. Like I said, this is a very tricky one. Like, it's not easy to make this monkey head look cool, but we're gonna try. Okay, so this we need some like some stuff going on the floor to make this work. Maybe this can get duplicated and scaled around in here. Maybe maybe I could take this entire backside and just pull that this way. If I turn on correct face attributes, then it won't stretch out the texture if I do this. Okay. Got something. Let's move this light a little bit this way. Let me also turn up the number of volume light bounces, just to make it feel a little bit softer all around. And let's maybe get a back wall in here. We'll throw a plane right there. Put this material on it as well. And then just scale that up here. maybe move the camera. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. This is gonna be tricky to make this work. Let's try adding some water. I'll just find my water that I've already made. If you want to see me make this water, just search Max Hay water. You'll find it on my channel. But basically, here's the shading setup if you want to just copy it. It's just standard water setup right here, like the roughness 0, transmission 1, that there. To let more light through, you just add a light path using the is camera ray. Run that into the mix shader as the factor between that water and the transparent. And then you can mix in volume too if you want. Okay, we need like some rocks coming through here. So I could either do that with a texture or just some models of some rocks. Rocky kind of surfaces here, and then use that to kind of just poke through the water a bit. Hopefully that works. And there was one more in here I was going to drop in, so we'll just export this one in here as well. Paste that node in here as well. I'm starting to stress a lot about this one because I'm trying to get this video done and it's looking horrendous, but I think we can make it work if I just keep going. If I just don't give up, I can make it work. Maybe let's have a rock kind of close to the foreground just to kind of help frame this entire thing a little bit. Oh boy, this is not going well. Okay, this thing looks terrible. Let's delete that. Maybe let's just get some more rings in here. Let's make this one different. God, this is not going well. So we're at 50 millimeters still. Let's try 28 millimeters and just pull this a little bit closer. Okay, that's a bit better. This thing can go closer as well. And then, yeah, let's throw in some trees. Let's go to the Botanic add-on, and let's just find some random, I don't know, this thing. Drop that in. Oh, that actually looks quite nice. Okay. Let's put one on this side as well. It's way too dark, but maybe I could just kind of maneuver the light around that. Right there is nice. Okay. Try not to have this too big, oversized. And let's keep dropping in trees because that made it look a lot better. So let's just keep doing that until it starts to look bad. Maybe one on this side too. Having different colors of trees can also be nice sometimes. So that's going to be good. More like jungly ones down here. Maybe this will help us. If I sound stressed out, it's because I am. Because this is going horribly. This is like not going well at all, but I think we'll be able to make it work. But yeah, this is not going to be easy. Okay, we'll take this plane here. We'll just kind of put it into the back here. Let's get a picture of a sky on here. There's some ones I made in, I didn't make them. Midjourney made them. So they were created from Midjourney. Whoops. Emission color. Turn up the strength. Maybe run it into the alpha as well. I don't know. That's a thing. Got some light coming from back there now, so that's okay. It's not too bad. This thing could come down a bit as well. I'm going to take off the adaptive subdivision in the viewport. I'll just leave it off. And we'll just have it on for the final, but not in the viewport. Find a spot where this is going to look good. Okay, so that's fine there. Move all this stuff over a little bit. Maybe these back ones could be a little bit further back here. Maybe just this inner one doesn't need to be here. And the whole thing could also be higher up like this. That might be nicer, but it might just be weird if it's too high up. Okay, we're getting somewhere at least, right? We're getting like something that's not the worst thing ever. Okay, we're getting a little bit closer. Might turn that subdivision back on just so I can tell where we're at. I think we just need a bit more stuff in the foreground. It might be interesting to scatter some moss on this. If I just search moss in Quixel, it might also be good to drop in more like sticks and roots and stuff. Let's actually try that. Let's just drop in some like, if I go to my purchased, I have a bunch of stuff in here. I'm starting to relax a bit more because we're actually getting something good. I've tried so many times before this to record and it just failed a bunch of times. But this time we're actually doing okay. So Let's drop a log in here. Let's drop more of these kind of things, like some random branch or root or something. This will be nice. Where's that thing? Yeah, there we go. Let's put this, because there's kind of nothing happening there, and it looks a bit weird. So if I throw some roots in there, maybe that will help. So that might be nice there. This can go here, maybe. This random log. Or even, it could be in here a couple times too. It might be cool if this thing was rotated this way. Maybe you can kind of just... I actually do like this here, where it's like... Yeah, that's nice. It would probably be better to rotate the camera versus rotate the entire environment to be at this angle, but whatever. Okay. Okay, I just took a quick break and came back, and you know what? This is actually not looking too bad, so I'm good with where we're heading here. You know what I might do? I like where this displacement is at right now, but I'm going to duplicate this, hide the duplicate, so we have a backup in case I mess this up, and then I'll just scale this one up a little bit. I might even try a different texture, to be honest. Let me just look through, or maybe I'll just scatter moss onto it. I think that's what I was going to do before I took a break. Yeah. This is actually getting worse, so I'm going to delete that, bring back our old one. So that's fine there. Yeah, how should we do this? But yeah, Botanic actually has grass models, which we could use to scatter. If I make it small enough, maybe it will look like moss. That might actually work, so let me try that. Let's not include base material. Let's just hit OK on that. That'll give us this. And if I decrease the scale, yeah, decrease the scale, and then increase the number to like 15,000. We'll decrease the scale even more. And then maybe do like, you know what I might do is just weight paint this into like some areas. So we'll just do that, and then we'll just select the density to be only in that area. And let's, oh, the displacement is messing this entire thing up. Okay, that's a problem. You can see it's actually putting this onto where the displacement, like before the displacement, yeah. Okay, here's a solution. Maybe we'll hide this particle system for now. Instead of using adaptive subdivision, let's take that off, and then let's add a different subdivision. So we'll add a subdivision surface, not have it adaptive. I'm going to keep it on Catmull Clark, and then we'll just increase the number a lot. And then we'll use a displace modifier rather. And then we'll use the displacement map that's actually in here. So what is this called? It's called WDELDDP underscore 4K. So we'll just put that one on here. Just hit new, and then hit this image right, or this button right here. Find that thing that was here, WDELDD, this one. And then we'll just go back to the modifier. Strength is way too high, so we'll do like 0.2. I don't know what is going on there. Maybe the strength is just too high. Yeah, that seems about right there. If I just hide that. The displacement here is also on. Let me take that off, then turn this one on. And let's see if we can get this to look like how it was before. So it's not quite looking like how it was looking before. This displacement seems to be working a bit different. Maybe we can have a mix of both. Like maybe I'll just take this one down. Oh, I think there was the mid-level that was, yeah, here, this needs to be adjusted. What was it on here? Oh, it's 0.55. Okay, why does it look like that? What is going on here? Okay, so if I just if I use the displacement modifier rather than the displacement node, let's just see, maybe will the particle system line up better now? Yes, it will. Okay. Okay, so now we're using so many subdivisions here, it's ridiculous, but now I'm also going to use a ridiculous number of particles, so we'll just increase that to 35,000. Attempting to get this grass to look like moss. Let's increase the scale a little bit, maybe. Maybe let's go even higher. First of all, let's display this as bounds. Make it a little bit faster. And then we'll maybe increase the number to, oh my god, 65,000. I'm just hoping that if I crank this number high enough that it will eventually start to look like moss, which I think it doesn't need to be perfect, but we're close enough to where it's like, okay, that looks close enough to moss. I'm good with that. I might want to decrease the amount a little bit, but other than that, I think we're good. Yeah, the only thing that's bothering me is that ring. So let's just fix that up, and I think we'll be finished soon. Okay. And let's just, weight paint. Anything in shadow, I think, should be less heavy on the particles because that will make it look more like actual moss. You know, because moss only grows on like one side of trees usually, the side that is like facing the sun. Okay, there we go. We're looking okay. A little awkward, but it's okay. I could also try and mix in like a mossy image on top of this. I don't know if I have anything that's going to work, but maybe I could find an image inside Quixel Bridge if I just go to, if I just search moss in here. Let's just see, like maybe this. Let's download this and let's just see what we got here. Let me actually go to files and I'm just going to take the base color. Let's take this and we'll drop it in here. For some reason, I haven't been able to drop images into the shader editor the last couple days. So I'm just going to use image texture, then hit open, then drop the image into the thing here and then open that. Okay. Now we can run this into slot B on here and then run this also into the mix factor and then just take a color ramp and just try and find a spot where we're getting like a good amount of green. But maybe I can just decrease the maximum amount here. Okay, I think that's fine. At some point you have to say it's okay. I'm going to drop in another tree over here and just hopefully get a bit more shadow on this side. Yeah, just kind of fill it up there. Same thing over here, just kind of get a little bit more thickness on either side there. Might duplicate this spotlight over this way. Drop that way down and just have it coming through just a little bit. Could have depth of field on. Add like a high number. So it's not too intense, but just a little bit in there. And then let's just fill up the foreground with some random things. Just call it a day. Random fixes in here to make this feel a little bit more natural. And then I think we're done with this one. Let's make this water slightly a little bit more blue. So I'm going to saturate this a little bit more. And then make the base color of this also just slightly cool. Just make it feel a little bit more muddy. There's a surface here, which maybe doesn't need to be here. Which I think it does, actually. Maybe I can just pull it down a little bit, though. And that's kind of nice. Adds a bit more depth on the floor. Okay, I think we're done. I think we're done. Let's just get a final camera angle. And then we'll finish this one up. Maybe we could have some mini Suzanne heads in here, too, as like fake, kind of like little statues or skulls or something. Let's try that. I just got that idea now, so let's just do it before I render this. We'll just do 1 or 2 subdivisions. We'll just hit link material, and then we're just going to have these around here. I want them very big. I want them pretty small, and that will help the big one feel bigger as well. Kind of like in the water here. Maybe 1 over here. We could also do a couple, maybe closer to the foreground too, just kind of poking out here as like a kind of hidden little thing. Maybe have one like, I don't know, sitting on the cliff over here or the rock over here, like right there. I don't know, I like that. Just kind of makes it feel more like I'm actually completing the challenge properly, and also just, I don't know, adds a little bit. I might switch these out. I was going to just finish this up, but I think I might switch out these rings here. We could easily make that something else. Let's just move it to a new collection. We'll just call this, I don't know, rings. And I'll have this as kind of like a backup. So I'm going to hide that, but then let's bring in something else that's going to work better. In the last video, I used this arch model from the Fantasy Asset Pack, which comes with my environments course. I think that might actually work in here as well. I know I'd used it in the last video too, but I think this will just actually work here. So maybe like one there and then 1 over here. That might be nice there, and then we can do another set of these back here. We'll move this to a collection. We'll just call it arches. It's not really an arch. It's like I don't even know what you call that, but whatever it is. Maybe let's rotate it this way. Just a little bit. And then maybe let's have, to fill up this background empty space that just appeared, let's just throw another one of these cliffs back here. Not even cliffs, these little rocks. We'll just have that right there. Okay, let's compare. This is the rings, and then the arches. What's going to be better? We could have both. Could do that too. It might actually be nice to have both. We could try that. Anyway, so I know I shouted this out in the last video, but if you want to access this pack of models right here, that comes with the course, I'll leave a link below to that in the description of this video too. But yeah, I think this will work together. If we have the rings, if I just match the rotation of this kind of, and then these arches together, I think that's going to be good. Let's just see where is the top of this circle? Yeah, you know what? I might just get rid of these arches, or rather these rings entirely. I think I might just take that out. And then maybe have a couple more trees to kind of fill that space where that was before. So we'll just try and spawn in something here that's going to work. I don't know. Let's try this thing. Any random tree will work. Doesn't matter. I just want a little bit more of that circular arching effect that those rings were creating. You know what? Let's delete that. Or maybe just put it in the back. I don't know. This spotlight is still too close to these trees because we're getting this really, really bright spot. So I'm just going to move that back a bit. Decrease the brightness slightly. Maybe not. Actually, that's kind of cool. If I decrease it, that's going to introduce more, like if it's really soft, it kind of like does that exactly, softens out the lighting. If I make it really harsh, you get like all these interesting shadows like this. This is way too much, but if I have somewhere in between, like maybe around there, that creates some really interesting lighting. So I kind of like that. I wish the sky was a bit more blue. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that on here. This maybe should just be dark. Could try a blue sky. Let's go back to this one. I think this one's good. And those rings were kind of covering up just enough of that it was actually working. Could try deleting this one and like bringing this up a little bit like this. Yeah, maybe that's a good balance right there where it's kind of like smaller or different rings, but I think I'm going too far with this. I think I'm like doing more than I need to be doing. This the spotlight size is that's a little bit too harsh. I'm gonna increase that just a bit to 0.4 or something. It's just making it feel a bit miniature for some reason. All right, let's just do a test render. Okay, I think we're looking okay here. This is actually way better than I expected, so that's nice. This little shadow right here is bothering me. I might just delete that little thing right there. Everything else is, I think we're okay. We're good. There's enough little Suzannes all over the place that's like, I'm happy with that. The water, I think, is a bit too big. I'm going to decrease the wave size a bit and then decrease the amount too, so it looks a little bit more realistic, hopefully. This wooden thing is bothering me. It's just a little bit weird. I'll take that out. And then other than that, I think we're okay. I might decrease the scale of this rock a bit. It's just a bit too big there. I like the texture. You can kind of just see that it looks a bit fake there. So I'll fix those changes. Number 1, that shadow. Number 2, the water. Number 3, the foreground, the immediate foreground. And then I think we're going to be like fully good. So I'm just going to really quickly run through those changes. I'll do it off camera because it's just kind of useless for you to watch it. But I'm going to come back when this is fully done and then we'll render it. Okay, I just did those changes. I just turned up the volume just slightly from 0.005 to 0.006. Not a huge difference. Reflective and refractive caustics are going to go on. I don't think it's going to make a difference, but on the off chance that it makes it look better, it's going to be on. Samples, we could probably just do 300 or even less, to be honest. I don't see any problems in the render already, so we can probably just even do less and be fine. I'll do a little bit more just in case I missed some weird artifacts I didn't see. And 250 is going to be low enough, it's going to be fast, so whatever. Motion blur we don't need on. Simplify doesn't matter. Anything in here? Everything is fine here. So we'll just do, I don't think I need to go that high. If I set this to 75% of these numbers, that'll be 3000 by 3750. 3000 by 3750. So that'll be a good amount right there for resolution. I think I'll post this one on Instagram. I like it, so I'll post it. I'm surprised I made this work in a render. Like I was honestly Not sure if this was going to work out or not, but I'm happy with it, so that's good. Okay, here is the final image, and I'll just run through the basic overview of all the stuff I did in Photoshop, but it's not actually that much. So here it is straight out of Blender, just like this here. This is straight from Blender. Here's all the edits I've done, and you can see it's actually not that big of a difference. It's a good enough difference that it's worth going over, but it's not a huge difference. But anyways, so I started with this from Blender, right? I used the mist pass to just add in a little bit more depth behind there. I've explained that in other videos, and it's not doing enough to go into detail on that, but basically just brushing in some kind of smoke effects in the background. And then we're doing some dodging and burning here. So this is just making some areas darker. Some of these areas that are just bright spots that are attracting a bit too much attention for no reason, I'm just bringing those down a bit. And then doing kind of the opposite in some of the areas that I do want more attention towards. So the light source, where the light's coming from, and then also around the monkey head, and then around just some other areas that I want to be a bit brighter. That's what that's doing there. And then both of those together actually make a decent difference, right? If I show and hide these, you can see it just kind of helps guide your attention into all the right areas that I want. And then we've got the camera raw filter. So this is where most of the changes happen. I'll just open this up and run through what I've done here. But basically just a couple of exposure adjustments, or like just bumping the exposure just a tiny bit, shadows up a good amount, vibrance up, just making the colors a bit more saturated. And then I've got some clarity and texture here. That's making a big difference. It kind of just makes it feel a lot more crisp and sharp. I don't like going too extreme with it, but I like to bump it up. This one's at plus 23 for clarity and plus 5 for texture. We've got some grain, so on 22, which is default settings. Detail, the sharpening is turned up a bit. It's not that important to do this, but it is making it a bit sharper. I like that effect, so it's on there. So yeah, not a huge difference, but mainly the clarity and shadows increase and a bit of saturation. That's really all that matters here. And then after that, a color lookup table, just kind of enhancing the contrast in a cool way. And we've got a curves adjustment layer over everything. It's only on 25%, and the curve is just doing a tiny bit of lift in the very bottom end to kind of fade the black end a little bit. And that's it. That's the final image right there. So yeah, I think that's it for this one. If you want a structured guide of me going through and creating environments from scratch and kind of putting it into a structured program and explaining my whole creative process and giving you some of the models that I've used in this video, plus a bunch of other stuff, I'll leave a link to my environments course below. But other than that, thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something in this one, and I'll see you in the next one.